You and Rodger had been dating for the past couple of years. You had grown to be oddly protective and possessive of him. Oddly enough, he really didn't mind. He figured it was just to protect him. One day, you noticed that one of the employees is flirting with him. So, you see to it that they can't anymore. You don't kill them, you just sort of trap them. You know that people will be questioning where they are, but because of how you are, because aside from the being protective and possessive, when it comes to Rodger, you were a very sweet person. You knew no one would question you, and likely they'd believe every word you said. So, even if they caught you, you knew full well you could blame it on someone else. And just say that you were framed. After a while, and Rodger decides to ask you about it, he says, hey, babe, why hasn't that one idiot been back? Sure, I don't really want him to, but why haven't they? Then you say, I'm not sure. Maybe they quit. So you can tell just from the look in your eyes that that's not what went on. And that you most definitely had something to do with it. So he asks, Hun, what did you do? Then you say, I didn't do anything. Why do you ask, Hun? And then he says, Darling, that look in your eye tells me everything. What did you do? Then you say, well, I might have had a little chat with them. You know how I feel when people are flirting with you. So I had to tell them not to do it again, more or less. I'm guessing they got irritated and decided to quit. And then Rodger chuckles and says, Hun, I know that's not the full story. I know you're lying. I don't know why. You know I trust you. But if this is really something you're uncomfortable with sharing, I won't persist. And you smile and hug him and say, okay, hun. And you happily say, I love you. He smiles and says, love you too. After a while, and Rodger had found where you kept the employee hidden, which happened to be Dandy's lab. Dandy allowed you to use it for whatever reason you wanted. He knew full well that you had hidden someone down there, but he figured, oh well, you probably did something. And then, well, since Rodger was down there, and you had him down there to make sure that your hostage of sorts hadn't gotten free, more or less. You saw Rodger. And then you ask with a disoriented look, Rodger, Muff, why are you down here? Last time I checked, Dandy doesn't allow you in his lab. Then he asks, I thought Dandy didn't let you down here either. Then you say, oh, Dandy told me to come get something. I'm not sure what anymore, but I know he told me to come get something. I'll probably remember when I see it. Then Rodger points at the hostage and says, Love, we need to talk. This is what you did to him. You kidnapped him. And then you chuckle and say, no, I didn't. You probably got the wrong person. Then Rodger says, Love, you know how my intuition is. It's never wrong. You did this. The only reason I'm irritated is because you hid it from me. After a while, he had convinced you to let them go and to calm down when it came to people flirting with them or doing things you were uncomfortable with when it came to him. And so people didn't really fear you as much anymore, but they still respected you. One day when you got there, someone was flirting with Rodger again. Rodger can tell you're irritated. So he just comes up to you and hugs you, and he says, Hey darling, I'm glad you're here. That immediately snaps you out of any murderous thoughts you were having. And you gently nuzzle into him and say, I missed you, honey. And then he calmly says, Missed you too, Dove. After a while, and you two are cuddling in one of the storage rooms, watching an old mystery film. And then he says, Great job today, love. I'm glad you didn't snap. That idiot. I'm proud of you. You smile and say, Thanks, hon. After a bit, he had gently kissed you to get you to relax, so you'd actually go to sleep. Then he says, I love you, Tyra. And then you smile and say, I love you too, hon. And you both fall asleep while cuddling.